Hey guys, Massi Baseball here, and today I'm going to be doing a different kind of video, more of like a commentary. This is going to be about some of the significant injuries I've had since I was younger. I wouldn't say I'm accident prone, but I've had my fair share of injuries. Yeah, I do know that I typically make in real life baseball videos, but it's hard to get out and do video with friends and stuff due to the virus. So now I'm going to be telling these stories because either the timing of it, the pain it caused, the placement, my age, etc. So that one time I scraped my knee and got a band-aid when I was like 7 doesn't get on this list. Alright, let's get into it. The first one is probably the lightest story on the list, but it was just my age and placement. Well, in 2009, when I was around 4, I was in my old backyard doing whatever 4-year-olds do. Well, this bee was flying around bothering me, and I was getting a little bit annoyed. It eventually came close to the side of my head, so I slapped it up against the side of my head. The bee dies, and now my head hurts, and I have a stinger buried into the center of my palm. Yeah, I went to my mom and eventually got it out with baking soda and vinegar, I think. Either way, it definitely hurt for 4-year-old me. I mean, it wasn't the only time I got stung. Once I was having a cross-country practice, and I slammed my hand down, and there just happened to be a bee there, but that doesn't matter. Let's just get on to the next story. So, the next story is definitely more painful. This was in 2010 when I was 5. I was on the retaining wall that was made out of sharp-edged stones, because why not? Whatever. I was on top of the retaining wall. My mom was watering. I was shirtless either because I think we had a kiddie pool or sprinklers were running or something. I don't know. I was walking on the wall, and all of a sudden I slid my back across the wall, and hit my head on the ground. Yeah, it definitely hurt. Well, more my back than my actual head. My mom came to help, and we ended up putting some hydrogen peroxide on it. I had a red back for pretty much the rest of the summer. 2 out of 10 would recommend. So this story, the next one I'm about to tell, happened in 2012 when I was like 7. We were at Red Hawk Casino. I don't know if you guys ever been there. And while my parents gambled, they left me in this Kid Quest place. I think it was literally called Kids Quest. It was a lot of fun. I used to love going there to meet new friends and play and stuff like that. Go in the gym, play on the iPads, whatever. And I was hanging out with these other 2 kids. There might have been 3. Well, we were having like a pillow fight. I know that sounds stupid, but it wasn't a playful pillow fight. We were actually using all the strength our 7-year-old arms could put into swing this pillow and just beat the hell out of each other. Pretty fun, until it was not. I was playing in this little room. So there's like a boys and a girls room, and we're in the boys room. And this kid hit me, and I fell over. And I fell and hit my head on the back of this sharp part of this dresser thing that was holding up a TV, and I think it had like an Xbox or a PS3 on it. Anyway, I started walking out, and the kids were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Or something along those lines, because they were definitely worried. Probably more so they didn't want to get in trouble, but whatever. And I'm walking out with my hand on the back of my head. I walk a bit, and I took my hand off the back of my head, and I looked at my hand, and it was completely covered in blood. So now I'm saying, I need a Band-Aid. I'm just kind of saying that, walking around, not really doing anything. And eventually this worker says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I need a Band-Aid," and I proceed to show her my bloody hand. And she says, "Okay, you need more than Band-Aid," or something like that. So an EMT gets called down, checks if I'm okay. My parents are worried. My parents get called down too. Everything is looking, everyone's looking. He then wrapped my head in a bandage and sent me off with my parents. And I mean, hey, they didn't even have to pay for that stay. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. Okay, so I actually went 4 years without a noteworthy injury. Well, I mean, me and my mom almost got shot in the Baskin Robbins, but that's a different story. It was by a stray bullet. You could actually see that on my old channel, which I might link in the description. Anyway, in 2016, I used to have this trampoline in the back of my old house, and I eventually got this pain in my neck. Kind of like when you sleep wrong and your neck hurts in the morning after you wake up. Just like that. So I got an ice pack and I put it on my neck and I lay on the couch. Then I say to myself, I need some heat to put on it. Like you're supposed to. Well, I was a little dense when I was 11, so my smart 11-year-old self decides to put a rag, not even soaked in water by the way, in the microwave for 4 minutes. Want to guess what happened? I pulled it out of the microwave and it was warm, nice, and it helped my neck right away. I'm messing with you. When I opened the microwave, it was charred black, and filled the kitchen with smoke. The fire alarm never went off. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But anyway, I grab it, I run outside, and suddenly I feel this hot and painful feeling, like a stabbing feeling, in my hand. Well, I drop and the thing catches on fire. Literally catches on fire, like bursts into flames. It was crazy. I put it out with the hose and put it in the trash. House smells like burnt rag. I called my mom, but she wasn't too mad because I actually told her and I was okay. But I had a bandage around my hand for a while. I actually told that story on my other channel. Once again, I might leak in the description. Moral of the story, don't put a rag in the microwave for 4 minutes. Better yet, don't put a rag in the microwave at all. Okay, this one's next year. It was 2017. I had my next injury. I used to like to rollerblade. I was really into it, and at this point, I was living in my new house. And my new house has this really steep driveway. I used to like to go to the top of the driveway and roll down it, going super fast. And one day I decided to do this, and this was like a month before my birthday. I think it was like June 2nd. My birthday is June 29th, if you didn't know. And I was going down super fast when I slipped. I don't know if it was something on the driveway. I don't know if my skates tingle. I really don't remember. But I will say I do remember sliding a little bit down my driveway, onto the sidewalk, and down into the hot street. Also, I was wearing shorts, so yeah, that was not a lot of fun. I looked at my knee, which was because I sort of slid on the inside, like with my knees pointed out. It was weird. And I had a Band-Aid shaped scrape. Not one of those little Band-Aids, one of those giant big Band-Aids and on the left. And then there was a little circle on my other leg, which wasn't so bad, but I was walking or riding, I don't remember, back up the driveway. And there was this elderly lady outside, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so," or something like that. So I go inside and tell my mom and dad, and they look at it, and they're like, "Oh, that's not good." So, they get the first aid kit, and my dad puts this stuff on it. And it hurt really bad. You know what it was? Iodine. I don't know if you've ever put iodine on a cut, but that stuff hurts. And it feels like putting a hot tack into the place you scrape or cut. 1.5 out of 10 wouldn't recommend. But let's move on to the next story. The next story happened in 2018, so 2 years ago. I got my first injury I've ever gotten that was very serious. I was at the Little League field hanging out with a friend on my team. There might have been two friends, actually. I think it was one of my friend's brother's baseball games, and we were just kind of hanging out. While he was playing baseball, we were out just doing whatever. The parents were watching the game while we were hanging out by these retaining walls. There were 5 of them. To visualize, imagine a 3-field complex, each home plate facing towards the middle. And in the middle was a snack bar and bathrooms, and behind that there was a 4th baseball field. And it was basically just a little plaza. It wasn't really a baseball field. It was just a plaza shaped like a baseball field. And the retaining wall looked like an outside fence. It was pretty cool. And the middle retaining wall is the tallest, 2 on each side, which are medium, and then there's one on the very ends, which are short. And we were playing a plaza, and we were just jumping on the retaining wall. I have a pretty decent vertical jump, not exactly sure, but I know I think it's better than average. At least it used to be. And I was able to jump on this wall pretty well. Well, I was showing off to my friends, and I got to the biggest wall, which I've jumped onto before, so this wasn't like the first time. Well, this time I messed up and I got to the top, didn't have a good placement on the wall or something, and I slipped. My friends asked if I'm okay, and I looked at them, I looked at my arm, which was scraped up. I started walking to my mom to show her the cut. I showed her, and she says, be careful or something. And now this is the big part. I was wearing navy blue sweatpants, so I cannot see my leg. Then all of a sudden I feel this cool feeling, and I look down at my leg, and there's this dark puddle at the bottom of my pant leg. I pull up my pant leg, and it's not really gushing, but there's a stream of blood just running down my leg from this gash in my upper shin. I think it was like 3 inches below my knee on my left leg. My mom's friend was pretty smart, so, I think she worked in the medical field. I'm not exactly sure, but she got some napkins, put some tape over it, stopped the bleeding. According to them, I was as pale as a ghost, but I don't really remember how I looked because, first person. Anyway, we pull up to the fire station, and my mom asks if they can give me stitches. They looked at it, and they tell me some stuff. I can't remember but what they told me, but I couldn't get any stitches there because they can only give like 2 to 3, and my cut needed more than 3. When we go to the hospital in the car, my sock was full of blood. We arrived to check in, and I'm taken to the back. They cleaned it up, numb it, and they put a needle in the wound. That hurt. And stitched it up well. But the doctor didn't do such a great job because it took about 35 minutes to get all the stitches out a week later because my skin literally grew over them slightly. And the wound actually opened up a little bit again. But luckily it wasn't all the way, so they just gave me some Vaseline or something like that, strips to close it up, and some other stuff like that. I ended up being fine, but got a little bit out of my Little League season. That definitely sucked. Definitely not going to do that again. This next story is less about overall pain, even though it hurt really bad, but it was more about the timing of it. This was last year, 2019, and I was just about to go to the Reno Nationals 13U, which was July 25th, I believe. But on July 29th, or July 9th, the same day I posted my first video on the YouTube channel, on this new YouTube channel that I have now, I messed up my hip and it hurt really bad. Turns out I strained it. My mom and dad kept talking about how they thought I probably wouldn't be able to go to the tournament, and I was a little bit mad because I felt like they didn't even think I was going to get better. They asked if I didn't even want to play baseball anymore, which was definitely a little messed up, but, since then we're fine, whatever. But back to the story, I was luckily fine, and I was able to play in the Reno Nationals. You can actually see that in my first hitting compilation video. Towards the end, you'll see it says Regional Nationals on it. What sucks is I never got to hit a home run over that fence. I came close. It actually turns out at the end of the tournament, I looked at my bat and it was cracked. So yeah, that sucked, but I got to play, so whatever. The last story on this list was this year, 2020. I posted a video of it since my dad cut it on camera, but I got hit in the head with a line drive as the pitcher. Definitely one of the nightmares a pitcher may have when he's pitching, but whatever. Definitely check out that video. That was me on the mound, by the way. Anyway, I got hit. Everyone checked up on me, make sure I was okay. Me and my teammates were joking around like, way to get your head in the game. The catcher, when I go to high school with him, the next day he was telling me that he thought it was funny because instead of saying ouch or ow or something like that, I said, was that a line drive? Because I actually wasn't sure if that hit me like directly or if that bounced. It was a line drive. I actually pitched the rest of that inning pretty well. After that, I was pulled for the game for obvious reasons, But I think I just got a lump, but I didn't get a concussion or anything like that, so that's all good. And that's it. Thank you for watching. So I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys later.